Well, you're talking about the cameras?
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're gonna go to executive at some point.
Right.
And that will be turned off over here.
Yeah.
And I think that we are live right now.
Okay, excellent. But we don't have a quorum, so. That's interesting, by the way. The sunshine law says that you have to have, that you can't have, no, it's backwards. Never mind. I just figured it out myself. I don't want to ask him, it's gonna cost me, it's gonna charge us.
Why?
I was thinking that in today's day and age, if you stream something live,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make a difference. That's like any open public meeting, you still need a quorum. I was going backwards.
Right.
I figured that.
You remember, we've taken a couple of votes by telephone.
Yeah.
And that's
Did you get
we
me
do
charged
that
for that?
because
Because I can't turn it off?
There's actually a case on it. Here he comes, the deputy mayor, we're all set. You're running the meeting, Menashe.
Is this for real?
Yeah. Ray's gonna be a little bit late.
Okay, we'll make it happen. Actually, I have a quick question too, before we start the meeting. There was an
You're on air.
None.
Go ahead.
The Board of Health?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, and published in the Asbury Park Press on January 12, 2018, and revised via email on May 22, 2018.
Roll call, please.
Let the record reflect Mayor Coles is on his way. Deputy Mayor Miller.
Here.
Committeeman Lichtenstein. Committeeman Ackerman is absent. Committeeman Delia.
Here.
Doing Board of Health first?
Board of Health?
No, Board of Health is going to be after, because the notice went out for 6:30 for Board of Health. So
Okay, got it,
after
6:30.
executive.
Okay.
Before executive.
Let's do this right away.
No problem at all. I handed out today a letter from Cars for Kids. This is from URA. They, a while back, they did a handout. They gave out car seats to the public of the facility. They also, because they're not-for-profit, they receive donations all the time, various household goods and household items. They're looking to give those away to anyone that wants it, to the needy. They're asking us to utilize our town square to give it away to anyone, any community whatsoever on those dates. So,
I think we should, do we have a list of what they're giving out?
she mentioned, she started telling me things. She goes, there's going to be a couple pages, like, it could be this, it could be that, it could be some utensils.
Maybe we could think of a good word and have Public Works put up like a sandwich board so people know it's coming,
Okay, that could work.
right?
I can get in touch with the person who submitted the letter to us, some
You
organization.
don't want to put 100 things, it's just household
Household items.
items,
I think
various sun
They basically right over here, various dry goods and household items.
Okay, yeah, that kind of.
All items we given will be brand new, useful items for anyone in the communities. Community-wide, Lakewood Town Square will be an appropriate venue to give it away for free.
I'll just put up a sign letting people know that.
Okay?
I mean, if they want them. it's-
My only concern from a liability point of view is the security. You know, people see free stuff, are we gonna have a police officer there?
We've had people give clothing out in town square, never had a problem really.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate it.
Because we need to have hours too. I don't see-
Right.
Yeah, great idea. Let's do that. Let me give you, I see there's no number on here, a specific number to call. Let me find that out for you, Tom.
Yeah, there's
Contact
there's a
person.
number down here.
That's the main number to the.
If it's an hour or an hour and a half, and we can do it at a time that we have a double shift of officers on, you know, maybe we could just have
Overlap
officers
some in there.
standing around in the area.
Yeah, I'd be more comfortable with that, you know.
Right.
We can do that.
Let the record show that Committeeman Ackerman is entering the room grade.
Let the record reflect that Committee with Ackerman is, yes, is here.
Thank you.
Okay.
6:05.
Very nice thing.
Kate, can you handle this, because I won't be in tomorrow, and this is already for June 5th.
Sure.
Okay, the person's name is Miss Kaufman, and I will get you a cell number for her as well, even though it's signed by Wendy Kerwin, who's Director of Public Relations, but the person who's going to be running the exam is Miss
So we
Kaufman.
need to get a time from her,
Time from
what
Ms.
time,
Kaufman.
and if they're putting up signs or we're putting up signs?
There you go.
There's
Okay.
also an email.
You want to pull that in? I'll pull this
Okay.
out.
Sitting in the mayor's chair.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're done with that. Everybody go to the yellow folder. We'll do this stuff real quick. We'll go to executive. Everybody wants to take a look at number one. Number one. Lot 351, lot 3. 445, Lot 6. This is that one piece of property. 445, Lot 6 is the property that, well, we did 445, Lot 3, which is that huge lot that we did for open space last year. And in dealing with the person who owns the property, he would like to swap it for Block 351, Lot 3, exchange it.
What do we gain?
This is the piece that Ray wanted for the park?
This is the first one we did,
First one.
which is a small piece up top. This isn't a 6-block radius. And once we do
No, but
this,
this is, I think, this is the area Ray wanted a park behind this development.
Yeah.
Last page, that piece would be swapped down, and this is the area you want for a park?
right where the yellow piece is there, it makes that whole block one. And
So 1 and 2 are swapping for each other?
Yeah, we're going to exchange Block 445, Lot 6 for Block 351, Lot 3.
We need values.
We have them. The values are in. The value for Block 351, Lot 3 is 8,800. And
You seen that?
the other,
It is. Here's one.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
This here, Ray wanted this whole area to be a park.
and the other is
So he wants that piece out so that he can go ahead.
18,900.
So the nice piece is worth more.
So you have to do
So I don't want to give him any, we'll take it without taking any money.
What do we gain?
No, we gained that to be able to have a
Squares out
park.
of thing.
Yeah, squares out of thing.
Yeah, but see,
Right.
he's exchanging,
Oh, 2 pieces.
yeah,
Holy cow. Okay, you got it? So his eyes still good?
Yeah. This is scary stuff.
Yeah, boy,
I could have brought my down jacket.
here we go. I feel like I'm at home.
I was reading this one here, 445 lot 6, correct?
Correct, that's the one we did last year.
Yeah, okay, so. Alright.
we were exchanging a lot for less value for more value.
We're exchanging,
That's what I want.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
If the guy's agreeing, we're not giving him any money, we're not giving him anything. This is the exchange, as is.
That's cool.
And the owner that's exchanging with us, is this somebody from Highland Park or something?
I forget the name of the company, I'll be honest with you. I have to go back and look.
Okay.
Can't believe I didn't put it in here, but I got it. All right, so Harold, you'll handle that?
You want the title search before or after we adopt ordinance for it?
So who's gonna pay for the title search?
Well,
Well, we
we're
have-
getting,
because we're the ones that want
We're
it.
benefiting.
yeah, we would search out his parcel, make sure he's the owner and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, do the title search.
Do it before ordinance, or you want me, I can get it done in a week or so, I might even have it before the next meeting. I can put an ordinance up.
So let's do that. For the next meeting's the 21st.
So how are we gonna pay the title search without a contract or something? We need something. We can give him a professional service contract, but I'd like to have a contract in place.
Can we put the cart before the horse and have it on for a resolution on the 21st?
What do you wanna do? I'm just telling you,
No, I know.
we need a contract to pay the guy, or girl, whoever does it.
Yeah, I mean, you could do, the ordinance needs 2 readings, so it's gotta be ordinance for.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, do
You
that.
could do a contract, make it subject to the ordinance.
Well, we're not gonna pay him anyway until
It's gonna go on a bill
the
list.
21st, so we'll do everything on the 21st.
So authorization for the committee to do that. Still needs a
Here.
What, just to enter into a contract with a land exchange and then?
When the title search gets done,
ordinance?
Can we get an appraisal to do that?
No.
No, the statute says when you do a land exchange, you can use the assessed value, and Seeger's assessed value is sufficient for what the committee wants to do.
Right.
But we're gonna have to pay, I don't even know how much a title search is.
Oh, title company, never mind.
Yeah, title insurance company. Use anybody you tell me to use. I can use a guy I've used for 35 years. Menashe, I know you.
Yeah, let's mention the news going, new that's opened up.
Yeah, there's one right down in Jackson that I just was at a closing out last week. Anybody can do it, and their prices are regulated by the state. It's very modest when it's just, minor value, property value. It's more than search work, and I'm talking about $1,000.
Just go ahead and get it done. And then we'll put it up, just give me the information, I'll put it on for a resolution for the contract for them.
Okay.
You want to do it by resolution for,
Well, for hiring the company, yeah.
oh, okay. And do the ordinance for first reading for 2 weeks?
Who do we have to hire? Just
Yeah,
do
why
a
do you,
title
yeah,
search.
$1,000, what do you need a resolution for?
You have to hire, every time you do a title search, you have to hire
The
someone?
resolution for title
Well,
search.
when paying somebody, I'd like to see a contract, that's all.
Who do you
Yep.
do for every?
Okay, very good.
All I've ever seen are sales, I haven't seen purchases, so.
No problem.
All right, so you'll get it done, okay.
Two Rivers?
Whoever,
Mr.
Yeah,
Deputy Mayor?
whoever you use is fine.
The Lakewood company.
Lakewood Company.
They're a Jackson company.
No, use Lakewood Company.
Support
can.
Lakewood.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
You can.
You can. Support the local economy.
That's right.
Madison.
Next item.
All right, number 2 is street vacations. Here, take a look at it. Here's this. The owners are on the back 2 sheets, so everybody knows who they are.
Yeah, I see it.
What they're looking to do is do all commercial development with inside the purple.
We're one of the owners.
I'm sorry?
It says 2 owners, us and,
No, there's 3
No, no, no.
owners.
what am I missing?
Us, Kirshner, and
Well,
Village.
we only own the green part,
Am I missing something?
which is small. Wawa owns the rest of the pink.
What?
Utilities own the
Yeah, I
orange.
might be missing some owners. I have the Wawa property,
Wawa's in pink.
pink, and then I have the green.
No, no, do you have this one?
Look up top left corner.
Top left corner.
Yeah.
Pink
Right
is
up your
Wawa,
start
Lakewood Associates.
orange is utility, green is
Oh, here it is.
the township.
Oh, okay.
They want to make it a retail commercial area.
Item number
7 and,
Off of Vermont Avenue, that's Vermont Avenue, you can cut through.
Correct. No, actually, they're going to vacate the purple.
They want to.
What do they wanna do with the green, though?
I'm sorry?
what's gonna happen with the green property? Somebody's gonna ask us to put it up for sale?
Well, the green's our property. We can
Yeah,
ask.
we're gonna landlock ourselves in.
No, we will.
We will.
Yeah. Well, we can see if Wawa wants to buy it. I mean,
I think somebody asked me about buying this property many years ago once. Why don't we see,
Yellow and blue.
well, I mean, I'll get an appraisal on it and, well, I think it.
yeah, let's see what the value is.
Yeah, and then I'll see if Wawa
I'm
wants to buy it.
trying to remember who asked me, somebody asked me about once, I think, for a car wash. Let me ask around.
Let me ask you something, how do they
How
get
could this
access?
be, this is
to
not
the
Wawa,
property?
this is a little exempt. How could this be Wawa? The top part that's pink on the tax map shows that it's still owned by the township, even though it says here pink.
The pink is Wawa.
Right, but.
I don't think it is, because it
It
says
says
exempt. on it.
exempt.
It is. I went to
It's
our
a-
assessor,
it's a
sat
old-
down,
it's an
went
old
through the
map?
whole thing. Yes.
Yeah.
When you look up here, if everybody's, this is pink and this is pink. Well,
Right.
this is owned by Wawa. The green is ours.
Right.
The blue is Rabinowitz, the yellow is
Right.
Kirshner,
Yeah.
this is
Utility.
utility.
So the question is as follows, if this is owned by
Oh, right.
Wawa, why does the tax map still show it as township? Exempt means township.
I have no idea.
Me too, I don't know.
Yeah. Because I went to Ed, I'm sure they're paying taxes on it, but I'll check into it.
Okay.
All right?
What do they want vacated? They want vacated, George, what is that, Florence Street?
All right, then I'll get some more information, get back to
Yeah.
everybody.
Tom, get more information and double check on those 3 lot numbers. Because if it would be Wawa, you'd think that they might be all consolidated, but, and this particular map is not.
Okay.
Might be an old map.
Don't give Ray back the gavel.
I'm sorry?
Welcome to it.
I told Minaj not to give Ray the gavel back.
Okay.
Pink.
That I know.
Oh, no, I saw it.
They gotta have more information.
All right, number 3 is block
Yes, it is,
182,
by the way.
lot 5. bringing up, you got it here.
Yeah, this would be, this is right off North Lake and Forest. North Lake is right over there, but this is the back.
Is it still that nice looking?
Pretty sure it's right.
It would have to be, this would have to be offered to all, any contiguous owners. One of them is township, again. I may be wrong, it has exempt, but I don't know if the reason is.
More properties is Krupnik. We want to get Krupnik to trade us some land for a park. Can we work something out like that?
I'll talk to him.
That's what I heard. That's a good idea.
It's like funny to sell a 12,500 square foot lot.
That's calling it undersized, yeah.
Yeah, because you can get a variance. No problem for a property like this.
That's why 9,500 is what you want.
That was for that,
That is property. Next, we'll go to the green folder.
This weekend. Block 1139.
That's what we just discussed.
Is that what this one?
With Adams Street. Adams is a street that we have on this year's list of paved. And then a lot of the neighbors came to us and said the drainage is so bad that they would ask us if we would address the drainage along with the street, and the drainage is going to be quite a bit of money. So I want to put this aside until next year, and the neighbors are okay with it. As long as they, the drainage and everything, and plus we need to get some type of permits from CAPRA or DEP.
Oh, yes, that's something to take a year. Through the chair, I don't know who the chair is right now, but whoever you are. We send letters to all the neighbors and all the property owners that we're going to be repaving it. So I would ask that we resend letters to them. That we resend letters to anybody that we sent a letter to on Adams Street. If they're on the signature page, that's fine. But I think just to be safe, we should send whoever lives on Adams Street that we sent the letter, your street's going to get repaved, we should send them another letter that says,
Receives a petition.
we got a petition.
We got a petition,
And
basically.
we're pushing it off for a year so that we can try and address the drainage and the road at the same time.
I'll take care of it.
That's what I would
we
do.
need to finish paving. That drainage is awful out there.
All right, the next is Miller Road parking. If everyone wants to take a
Oh,
read.
this is easy. I know this is. What's happening is I think they're extending their shul in the area, and the county requires them, there's no parking there right now, but the county is requiring us to put signs up that say no parking in front of it. They all signed the petition, everyone is in agreement of this, so it's a standard no parking.
Is this the one on Mill Road?
Yeah. There's currently a shul there.
But the county wants us to
The
do a
county-
resolution.
Right, and then they'll put the signs up, it's their signs, their road, but they want that the township should be concurrent with them to put the sign
We
up.
need to send them a letter or something?
No,
No,
we
they
have to
want
vote on it.
to vote on it.
Put a resolution on for next meeting, and then we'll send it to the
Carol,
county.
do that.
We've got the signature, so, they're for it.
Okay.
But the county's putting up the signage, so it's just a
County
resolution.
roads.
County roads, but they wanted to make sure we're okay with it.
So we do a resolution authorizing it going in.
Right, the county knows, prohibit parking in this area, but, and the area is here, it's written up in the letter.
Just remind me tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is Pine Park. Evidently, Pat was called to by Rabbi Gray over at Pine Park, and the back of his property, he would like to put a gate so his people can, his students or whatever he has there, can walk out and go to the park instead of walking all the way around to get into.
Didn't we do this before?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought we did.
he wanted us to bring it back, so.
We discussed it. We didn't
We
do
said,
it.
Ray, in the past, you said no, and the reason was your concern, A, was security, which I guess, I don't know what Pat says now, but I think that some of our special crews are helping out with security, so he feels a little more comfortable possibly.
It's concerned you lock the park in the front, and someone has access to a back door.
Right, but then that's one issue, is that's part of what we were discussing. And secondly, I don't know what the neighbors, I'm not sure what the neighborhood is there. I spoke to this rabbi about it, I spoke to Pat about it, then I just never heard back from them.
I know that they don't, I think they own like the last, I mean, they own the last few buildings, like from County Line, along the park for like a few acres.
I think it's a great idea, but let's just get input from Pat and,
Well, what does Pat say?
Department. No, I think it's a great idea, just try to get,
Okay.
Pat and the chief's input on it.
I don't understand, he wants to install a fence?
A gate.
A gate. He doesn't want to have to go around.
So he
Well,
just
what's there now?
a fence all the way across and they
A
can't get
chain
out.
link fence?
You gotta walk
So he
around.
wants to cut a gate into our fence.
Correct.
It's easy access. This way the students can play there in the park. Oh, I have no issue, I think it's a good idea.
Just have to make sure
Let's
that.
make sure that-
What does Pat think about it?
I don't know.
Future, what does Pat think
Go
about
ahead,
it?
let's go.
Yeah, well, Pat, I talked to Pat about it, he said it does make sense.
Does to me, but maybe there's something that we should be looking at further, I don't know. What's the lawyer say about it? There's no liability there, right?
No, I don't see, how could there be? It's our park. What's the-
That's where the liability would come in.
It's probably less liable than if they're climbing the fence, we're better off letting them have a gate, you know?
Why don't we do this, why don't we, through the chair, Mayor, why don't we see if Pat and the police are in agreement, let's do it, and if worse comes to worse, and if it becomes a problem, we just keep the place locked, we change,
Do we
tell
set a
them.
precedent though for anybody else who backs up to the park or wants to put in a
Well,
gate?
that's the thing. That's a thought.
That's true.
Are we starting a precedent?
Well, like I said, talk to Pat, talk to the police, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, who does this resolution go to the county? Does it go to the freeholders?
I think we should just give a copy of the resolution back to the applicant, who will then, meaning...
Yeah, the applicant needs it.
Right, the
So
applicant
the-
needs it to show the county that they comply. This had to go to the county planning board, since it's on a county roadway. So the county required it.
So the resolution would go to the county planning board? or
No, it'll go to,
Give it back to the applicant.
it'll go to the person, these people.
And they'll get it to its proper location.
Right, their engineer will give it to county engineer.
Whoever's making the request from
County
them.
engineering, right.
And we'll do it, get it to them, and they'll make sure to take care of it.
One last thing, back to property number 4, block 1139, lot 1, that's the lot that the school would like to have for the preschool, and I think we said it was okay to do.
On Vine Street?
Right,
All right, Harold, you do that transfer?
Is that it, Tom?
That's all I have for regular discussion, yes.
All right, before we go to close, Harold,
Yes,
you've been talking about those 3 ordinances that the planning board passed to us after the master plan last year.
yes.
Would you be able to give the committee just a brief overview of what the 3 are? And then if the committee's in favor of it, I'll put the ordinances together and we'll put it on for the next meeting. The 2 of them had to do with parking and 1 was the campus ordinance, so.
That's correct.
Please take over.
This came from the planners that said there were 3 that they thought required some further study by Township Committee. The first 2 are dealing with taking houses of worship that have a catering and banquet facility associated with it, or a hall. And the other one is secondary and post-secondary schools that have associated dormitories. Those are 2 separate areas. They're saying if they have dorms or if the houses of worship have banquet facilities, catering facilities, they shouldn't be permitted uses in the zones that they are now, but make them conditional uses. And just to touch that real quick, think of a conditional use like a gas station. It's permitted in certain zones, but you have to meet all the specific conditions, and they are tailored for that type of use. In this instance, I believe what the planning board's recommendation from the master plan was, we feel that a catering hall associated with a house of worship or a secondary, post-secondary school with dormitories requires consideration of parking, because parking isn't required in what's there. So the recommendation was adopt ordinances that differentiate between just a house of worship and a house of worship with a catering hall. If it has a catering hall, it's not a permitted use, it's a conditional use, meet these extra requirements of the bulk zoning. Those requirements they did not spell out at all to say you have how many square feet, how many spaces you need, any of the dimensional things. That would be something that T&M would have to tell us as the planners of the municipality. They just indicated, we think they should be differentiated so we can impose some more stringent requirements on those 2 types of uses.
So if we go forward with those 2 ordinances that we're talking about, We first read them if they pass. Do we then send them to the planning board, who sends them to the planner for filling in the docs?
No, because I don't have the specifics. They said, make these conditional uses. They didn't say what the specifics would be of the conditional use.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but what would we be accomplishing if we pass these ordinances? What are they going to do? How people are going to move forward?
Shouldn't we go first to the planner?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, I thought the planner had gotten us all the information.
No.
We're waiting 6 months for it.
The planner indicated that these are the ordinances that are suggested by the master plan and required.
Right, and they were supposed to get back to us with recommendations. For
They didn't give the bulk requirements. They did not indicate to us what additional bulk requirements. They have to design that. And that's got to be a planning
I
function.
never spoke to them about this.
So what happens if someone walks in with an application tomorrow?
For
So
They have to leave-
use.
they
a
have to
house of
leave-
worship with a.
Let's take it this way. Is there feeling on the committee to move forward with this, or are things best the way they are?
I don't understand
You're missing step 2 on this one.
yeah,
It's a
I'm-
good
I'm
idea, the
missing
idea's a good
something.
idea, it's missing a step 2.
let's see what they have in mind. Like,
Right.
if they say you need an extra, let's see what their specifics would be, then we can make a decision. I don't know, I don't know exactly what they're asking us for.
If you want the planner to give us a feeling of what he thinks the planning board wanted and the additional requirements for conditional use, we can ask him, and I will talk to him, and I'll have him have a few at another meeting. This is not one of the ordinances that we had asked him.
I wanted all three of these to be addressed at the same time, since the planning board had asked us to look at them, part of the master plan. Obviously, that didn't happen.
The master plan did not specify what those
I
requirements
know,
would
that's
be.
why in January, I asked the planners to get back to us with their recommendations so that we could enact these, and I was under the impression that those recommendations had come back.
No. They had
What
not.
about the
So-
campus ordinance?
The campus ordinance is, right now, there's an educational campus ordinance that exists in the code. And it provides that in the RM zone, an applicant can come forward and make application to build it. I think it's 28 units per acre for dormitories, housing for educational facilities. The proposal that came from the master plan was that if an individual had already received approval from the planning board to develop an educational campus on a site where it's permitted, but they hadn't started construction yet,
They received approval or their application was complete?
I believe it was application complete.
That's what they
See the
said.
language. The language that came from master plan was, subject to campus approval being in place at the time of planning board adoption of the master plan. That was, so they had to have their approval for it, but had not started construction. If they had that type of approval for a campus ordinance, the master plan recommendation was adopt an ordinance that allows the applicant to reapply to the planning board to convert and permit the development under the R 7.5 provisions of the zoning ordinance. The zones that are affected by it, where campus ordinances would be permitted, there are several of them, certainly the RM, but in addition to the RM zone, campus, the planned educational campus is permitted in the B1, B2, B3, B4, and the ROP zones. I don't know who's made application for any campus ordinance. I don't know the status of
Shouldn't it
any.
be- Look, this is about whether or not it's a good idea,
I
not
understand.
about if somebody's going to benefit.
I understand that, but these are the zones that are, where a campus ordinance could be permitted. The
So
recommendation,
basically, what's going to happen if we approve this?
it will allow an individual that has already received approval to build an educational campus to stop what they're doing, not start construction, rather come back to the planning board and say, let me build it out under the R 7.5, which permits single-family and duplexes.
As opposed to what would the other plan be? Was that like the multi-story apartments?
They can do 28 units to the acre.
Yeah.
It's 28 units per acre.
So-
When you talk about, in the R75, it's 43,000, well, it's 5.8 units per acre for a single family or 4.35 units to the acre for a duplex. So the density is different than what's permitted, but it's not,
Is there any difference in the taxability standards of these? If it was a campus ordinance, would they be tax exempt as part of the campus?
yes, they would be
If
taxed.
we switch to the R 7.5.
It's single-family
Now
residents.
taxable?
They're allowed to, they're just single-family residents. There's no tie into
So
educational
this
campus.
would increase the ratables by decreasing the density as well.
It does both of those
So
things.
it's a
yes.
win-win. It's a win-win situation for the town? Harold, it's
It's really not.
That's too subjective. I don't want to.
I'd rather not.
The answer is yes.
Somebody who doesn't want it, no. So-
If it would reduce the density and increase our tax rateables. That's correct. But
That's what I meant by it.
I have a question, though. There was some question about, we were looking at spot zoning and the difference between the approval and the application. That's not, what's the suggestion? Because I spoke to you about what we would do for an ordinance. Your ordinance language would mimic this, or would it say something about somebody who has an application in? Because if their application in, by definition, they're an allowed use, so you can't deny them the use anyway, right? Wasn't that the?
Right now, they can build a campus, or they can.
That's if they're approved.
They're approved.
But let's say they're not approved. Let's say somebody was not heard by the board yet, and they're currently able to go in for it, and their application is complete before we change it. So that means that if it's allowed, they would get the approval, right?
The language that that was set forth coming from the recommendation was, and I'll read it. In a residential zoning district, any tract for which a complete application for a planned educational campus has been filed with Lakewood Planning Board, reapproval for that tract shall be conditionally permitted in accordance with the R75. So the language drafted is indicating they've got a complete application in.
Not approved. Not a complete application in. And that was the issue that you discussed about that it was not spot zoning, but I forgot the word that you used.
Now, and it's drafted to address that issue, but
That's what I wanted.
it could be either way. The way it's drafted now covers that, basically.
It does cover that.
Because it's...
So it will withstand a legal challenge.
It's,
I mean,
who knows whether it can withstand a legal challenge.
But you won't have
You're
that legal
confident
issue.
that it will?
I believe it would, yes, because it's not taking someone that has that approval as you're
It's saying only
talking about.
you.
It's giving a window of opportunity to individuals to get their complete application in for the campus ordinance.
Which they could do anyway. In other words, even after this passes, they could we're not changing where campus ordinances are allowed.
No, because it's the RM zone.
And
It's
they
the
could go in and
RM
get
zone,
it
so they
3
can
years
put it-
from now. The only question is, if they come in now, their encouragement is if they feel that it's worth it for them to do it now for whatever reason, at the same time, we're lowering the density and increasing the taxes.
Yeah. The RM zone permits single-family, two-family, multifamily housing, townhouses, all of that, and the planned educational campus. That's all the zoning that's permitted.
If somebody had a piece of property right now, Mayor, and they did nothing with it, and they did not come in, they can come in a year and get a planned educational campus. And so the way we have it drafted now is there's that window of opportunity. I guess maybe they make more money on selling than doing, or they decided they don't want to open the school. For whatever reason, they decide to come in. But I don't know if the right word is benefit, but what would happen to the town is the density would go down and the taxes would come up, if you have it written this way.
Yeah, they'll sell the property here, and they'll make a school in Jackson.
Mayor, can I go back to the shul with Katie Moore? I just want to clarify one thing for me.
I don't know that we can go back because there was nothing to go back to then, giving the information we needed to go forward.
That's what I want more information.
We're not considering those two right now.
I'm familiar with this situation, and my
It's by the first reading of the ordinance.
friends from the community did not want, they wanted a shul, but they didn't want a catering hall. And that's why I want to see what this is doing.
Right, well, we will have that information before we seriously discuss
Okay.
this.
All right.
Right? If somebody comes for a campus ordinance in a year from now,
And gets approved.
this ordinance doesn't help them. It's only at the first reading of this ordinance. It's only people who now are currently going to be complete.
So if someone comes next year with a campus ordinance.
First or
gets
second
approved,
reading?
Correct.
Is it first reading or second reading?
Being complete is usually by that.
So next year, if someone, I want to get it straight, if someone comes next year with a campus ordinance, gets approved, and then they want to go ahead and do this R75,
They can't do it.
they can't do it. Is that correct or incorrect?
That's correct.
What does the committee want? We haven't addressed it.
No, that's right,
Yeah.
because we want it to be, the way it's being told now is the way we want it.
This is what
Right,
we want.
but it would have to be complete by second reading of this ordinance.
Yeah, I believe that's it. But the one confusing part that I have is that the residential campus ordinance applies to the RM zone. The RM zone does permit single-family minimum lot area, 7,500 square feet, and two-family standards. They have those permitted uses in the RM zone. I think it's because it's not just the RM zone that it's limited to, as I said earlier.
Right, it's a few different zones.
Yes, the campus ordinance can be...
The planning board, when they looked at this, if I remember correctly, had a couple of campus ordinances, at least two, that will be able to lower their density by taking advantage of this.
Yeah, I think what happens is the RM is where primarily I think the campus ordinance is supposed to be, but B1, B2, B3, B4, ROP also would permit this campus, the educational campus. And now this would permit, where it may not be permitted in the B3 or B4, it would permit the R75 requirements to apply to it.
Mayor, I would say that, I don't know if you're in favor of this, but one of the people that have this big ordinance, this big campus zone up in the Prospect area called me about this and told me that they're holding the property waiting to see what happens. And it's costing them carrying costs of tens and tens of thousands of dollars a month. They have partners who have expressed interest, in other words, not actual partners, but people who will partner with them, who have expressed interest in using this property as a real campus ordinance. I don't know how long they're going to wait.
Mayor, I'm trying to get the ordinance put on the agenda for the next meeting.
So
That's why we're talking about it.
my question was, do you want me to, or somebody to read it from the floor tonight? Or would you prefer to have?
I don't
it
have an
in-
ordinance. Do you have an ordinance to read?
You have a draft, I mean...
You know what, if you want to read it for the floor, feel free.
What do you feel is the right way to do
I
it?
just told you, whatever you feel like doing, it's fine with me.
No, I think that's kind of rash to do it that fast. I think
Okay.
that another, just the next meeting,
All right,
I mean, if you
Can I-
already want it, I'm fine with it.
okay.
Can I have clarification as to, it's at the time of second reading and adoption would be when the campus ordinance application has to be complete?
Isn't it after publication and stuff?
I thought it was that, but I
Well,
don't know.
it's
We'll figure it out.
drafted.
Listen, before the 21st, I'll speak to the mayor, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
If the majority of the members want it, put on right now.
I'm asking, do we want to put this on for the next meeting? Or if
Well,
Mayor
for the
reads
next
it from the
meeting,
floor
fine,
tonight,
yes.
will you know?
Yeah, fine, next meeting. How about the rest of the money? Tonight?
Whatever you want to do.
I don't.
From a legal point of view, I'd rather do it right.
You want to do it now?
Did anyone hear that?
No.
I said, from a legal point of view, I'd rather do it right. And
Go right.
Council is taking a position. Okay.
Anything else?
No, sir.
We go to closed session?
Can we do Board of Health first?
Oh, I thought you did that.
No, we can wait, because the
Have it
notice
by
was
6:30.
6:30.
Oh, okay.
Okay, wait,
All
sorry,
right,
one
so
minute.
let's,
Wait, we didn't want you in this for, oh.
I'm so happy to hear that. I was really disappointed that I wasn't here in time.
We
All
want
right,
the rate of
so,
cost had to be healthy.
Yes, we adjourn this meeting now?
Take a break.
For Board of Health?
Yeah, you just,
Yeah, motion to adjourn for a few minutes?
So made.
I'll second.
Okay, we're adjourned. Board of Health?
adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, and published in the Asbury Park Press on January 12, 2018.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Coles?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Here.
Committeeman Lichtenstein?
Here.
Committeeman Ackerman?
Here.
Committeeman Delia?
Please rise for salute to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion to approve the minutes of February 8th.
So made.
Moved by Minash,
I'll second.
second by Isaac. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Open the meeting to the public. There is no public. We'll close it. Is there any consent agenda?
Nothing,
Any correspondence?
nothing.
Any comments from committee members?
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can I have a motion to go into closed session to
made.
discuss personnel, litigation, contract expenses?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you turn that switch on?
Yep. Do you have the glasses with you too?
Yeah.
It's really hard to turn, you want this thing?